Hey, storyteller. So I don't want to do this video. This is just so lame. Democrats. I don't want to, but okay. So I have SaveCalifornia.com. They're really good. If you're in California, really get their newsletter, follow them. To me, this is like, I donate to them. Like, this is part of church because they're strong Christians, really pro-life, against the gender stuff, against the LGBTQT stuff, and very aware of what's going on politically in Sacramento and how the Democrats just keep passing law after law after law after law after law after law after law to strangle our freedoms and to strangle any sense of morality. And they have the supermajority now, so that's why California is just into a downward spiral. Because for many, many years, they did not have a supermajority, so the Republicans, even in the minority, were able to counter and stop things in California. And taxes, the reason we've had such successful business is because there was a law created where they could not increase any taxes without having a supermajority. And now they have it, so they're doing that now too. That's why everything is suddenly getting so much more expensive. Everything, they're nickel and diming every little tax, taking away our freedoms here in California, and that's why you see burgers an hour $8, as opposed to what they were when I was eating junk food. I could get a ridiculous meal for like $10, $12, and now it's $20 to $30 easily. That's because the Democrats have supermajority and are just doing this. And when I go on to, I forget what it is. What's this called? Sorry, my brain is Nextdoor. When I go on to Nextdoor, which is like a Facebook, but for, your address and your area, man, there's just so many Democrat minions on there. So definitely LA is filled with a bunch of crazy left-wing, godless Democrats, and they're like wolf packs or lemmings. Anyway, so Newsom has passed a lot of laws recently. Signed a bunch of laws. Helping kidnap teenagers to bring to California to kill their preborn babies or get sex changes, and to stop pro-family states from interfering. So they're creating laws, and this is just like the Fugitive Slave Act, where Democrats go into other states and look for escaped slaves and then abduct them and then bring them back to slave states. And there was no proof. You didn't have to have proof. They didn't have to have any, and this was done federally. They didn't have to have proof. They didn't have to have so much for states' rights. Is the claim that that's what they were for in the Civil War. They would go into the Republican states, the free states, with bounty hunters and abduct black people, just whoever they thought was a freed slave. So this is basically what this is. The California is saying that they can now, it improves protections per providers against the enforcement of other states' laws that criminalize or limit reproductive and gender-affirming healthcare services here in California. So they're calling the kids to come to California, literally calling minors under 18 to come to California and get gender mutilations, drugs, and kill your babies. Senator Bill 487, Senate bill, provides additional safeguards for California abortion providers who participate in the Medi-Cal program. Wow, so like tax paid, regardless of enforcement activities in another state, if the conduct is legal under California law. So we have to pay for it now. Assembly bill 1707 protects healthcare providers and facilities in California from state licensing actions against them based on the enforcement of hostile laws that restrict abortion and gender-affirming care in another state. So therefore, they're just throwing all these out there, protect all abortion and so anyone can come to California to get an abortion. So they don't care about other states. Well, they do care. They're in the reverse. They want to undermine and destroy and protect those who break laws from other states. Rewarding abortionists and sex change doctors who operate on out-of-state teens. Assembly Bill 571 prohibits an insurer from refusing to provide malpractice insurance to a provider on the basis of them offering abortion, contraception, or gender-affirming care that is lawful in California but unlawful in another state. All these stupid laws. See, what they're forcing now. They're doing all these laws, so they're going to force other states to react, and then it's going to force it all to go to the Supreme Court, so that they can provide abortions and mutilation of children. Targeting pro-life crisis pregnancy centers to try to stop them from showing ultrasound images of pregnant mothers' babies in their wombs. So Democrats are now looking for all kinds of ways to attack and destroy Christian life pregnancy centers, like an option, pro-choice. They're not pro-choice at all. So in this one, you have to have a licensed facility or licensed provider. So where does the license come from? From the government. So from Democrats, to use ultrasound or similar medical imaging devices. So they don't want you and me to be able to use ultrasound or other medical devices to look in and see our babies. So you have to go to them. So they're taking control of a device that means a harmless device that does nothing except do the ultrasound. They want to control so that you cannot see the babies in the womb, or young girls can't see, or young ladies can't see babies in their womb if they have one. That is just how pathetic and evil. This is so petty. It is so evil. Is so petty. They're so petty in the way they do things. Remember during the lockdown here in Venice Beach, they had bulldozers put sand into the skating area so that people couldn't skate during the lockdown. That's how petty they are. Creating more abortionists to kill more babies. Facilitates guest rotations and medical residency programs in California for residents who can no longer receive the proper training due to their program being in a state with restrictions or bans. So they want to make more abortionists. Allows physicians assistants to provide abortion care after receiving training and in compliance with protocols. Wow. So physician assistants now, they don't even need a real doctor to do it, to kill a baby. Basically a nurse. With Newsom and Democrats' hatred of innocent preborn babies on full display, please share the... Okay. So, for you formed in my inward parts, you covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret, and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed. And in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. So you can donate to them. You can subscribe. If you're in California, especially, try to support this organization because they do, they really are informative and trying, they're on Instagram. So that's cool. But yeah, it's just the laws are passing, and there's more laws too that they've been passing. There's even one where Newsom vetoed it, but the Democrats have a supermajority, so they're going to pass it anyway, and he knows it. But there's a law now that's going to be passed that we don't have to inform children that they're going to be trained. The children in public schools or private schools or whatever don't have to inform the parents of any gender transitions. There's that, and the government, the Democrats, can take away your child if the child thinks it wants to do gender change and you disagree with that. Also, they have some law where or for now for adoptions, if you are against LGBTQ or you're a Christian and you don't believe in they're interviewing you, you cannot adopt a child, a boy or girl here in California. That's how petty they are. That's how petty and pathetic. If you're a Christian, you cannot be a Democrat, especially here in California. You cannot be a Democrat. You have to be against the Democrat Party vociferously. And I personally will not accept you as a Christian if you're a Democrat. Out of love, out of truth. I will not accept you as a Christian if you're a Democrat. You don't have to be Republican or conservative, but I will question you because, well, what then are you? Are you above it all? Are you above all the politics and everything that's going on here? And even my church, Grace Community, is kind of like that, though. They're kind of like, Pastor MacArthur definitely spoke out against the Democrat Party. He doesn't say be Republican, be conservative, but any of his positive remarks have been from say, conservative or Republican politicians. The few that he had especially during the lockdowns when he was being directly attacked, or our church was being directly attacked. But to be a Democrat, you're not a Christian. I'm gonna rebuke anyone that claims those two dichotomies. Okay, these are laws being passed by Democrats, and it's time to speak out, and that's kind of what I'm doing, in my little measly forum here, and working on the culture of the RPG culture, or at least the culture of Christians having a game where they can sort of play this stuff out, in some way, fashion, and then spread sort of a ministry in that sense, because that's really all I know. That's my, I don't know if it's a calling or just the way my brain works. All right, well, in the game of life, please roll holy dice.